back to Ill Blur Meta, guys. It's the hardest working blur on YouTube. Let's get into today's new video. Today's new video is on one of my favorite non-powered superheroes. And who am I talking about? What I know so far about the Batman 2. So first off, let's talk about the most anticipated thing that I've been seeing and hearing about. And this is not really true anymore. So apparently a lot of people speculated that the Batman 2 was going to be similar to Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, meaning that the Joker would be the main villain. Wrong, the Joker will not be the main villain. He will, in fact, be in the Batman 2, but he will be more of a minor villain. Woo! Thank you, Warner Brothers. Thank you, DC. Man, oh man, I am so glad of that because honestly, don't get me wrong, the Joker is one of my favorite Batman villains, but honestly, I'm like, nah, bruh, ain't no way y'all gonna say we getting Joker as the main villain for the sequel of the Batman. No, even though Barry, let me make sure I'm saying my man's name right, y'all, forgive me. Barry Keoghan did a nice job, being Joker in the Batman 1, and he even had a small role in that. So I'm glad, honestly, that Barry Keoghan is going to reprise the role as the Joker, but I am glad that he is not the main villain. I was like, please don't let us follow this trend where they're reusing all the Batman villains. Like, Batman has the biggest villain gallery rogue for supervillains out of the majority of the DC characters. I'm like, nah, bruh, absolutely not. So that's the first piece of information. The second piece of information is going to surprise people. The release for the Batman 2 Part 2 is supposed to come out of October 2025. And that makes sense. I mean, Batman, I felt like the first sequel, the Batman, the first one should have been more of an October movie. I was getting Halloween vibes from the beginning of the first movie where they had like a Halloween scene. And I'm like, I like it. I like that this is going to be an October-based movie. And I think it's cool. I mean, I knew it was going to be a while before we get a second movie. And like I said, this is also probably due to the writers and actors strike right now. And I figured we weren't going to get a 2024 release. Honestly, I was like, you know what? I don't think we're going to get a 2024 release for the Batman. And I was right. Warner Brothers, DC, like, nah. 2025 is going to be the year that Batman comes out, the sequel to Batman 2. And I'm okay with that. Absolutely. I'm like, okay, well, we have to wait a little bit longer, but hopefully it's worth the wait. The next piece of information, and you know what? I honestly can say we have not seen this villain being used in a live adaptation for Batman movies. And I was hoping that we finally got a chance to see this villain be on the big screen. And you know what? We're about to get that. So Clayface will be one of the main villains for the Batman 2. All right, Warner Brothers. All right, DC. That's what I'm talking about. I honestly can say I think that's a good change. I think, what's going on, Lou? Thanks for tuning in. And I appreciate it, man. I think it's great. Honestly, we have not seen Clayface in a live adaptation. And I've been wanting to see that for like the longest. I'm like, all right, they use Joker a lot. They use Riddler a lot. They use Two-Face a lot. I'm like, Batman has a ton of villains, like villains that I don't even know about. And I'm a big Batman fanatic. And I'm like, can we get some other villains? And I mean, that's great. Clayface being, yes, Clayface, bro. Oh my God, I am so glad of that. I was like, yeah. Now, what's going on, Aries? Thanks for tuning in, bro. How are you, man? I appreciate it, man. I'm glad because honestly, I felt like Batman has a big enough rogue gallery where we can see other villains besides the main ones like Poison Ivy, Penguin, all these other characters. And I'm like, well, he has Mad Hatter. He has Time King, you know what I'm saying? Scarface, Calendar Man, even freaking, I think, Calendar Girl, Slade, you know, and I mean, the list goes on for Batman. Batman has a nice gallery, so there shouldn't be no excuse why directors can't use other Batman villains. But Clayface being the main one, I can't wait to see. I don't know if they're going to change his story because remember, with the Batman, they changed Edward Enigma's story a bit. And it was a bit darker. I don't know if they're gonna do that with Clayface, where he was like a failed actor, and they may change the story. And if it works, cool. But I really hope that they stick to the original story because a lot of people probably don't know Clayface's original story if you don't watch the animated Batman series. So it would be a homage to some degree if they kept the original story. But I know as time goes on, sometimes directors want to try something new and reinvent certain things. They want to stick with the common ones that everyone knows to try to sell the film. I think that will be, yeah, they're still going to use other villains. And that's what I'm going to talk about, Luke, very soon. And yeah, Ares, of course. So the other villain that they're going to be using for the Batman 2, and honestly, I never was really happy about Arnold Schwarzenegger playing them in the previous Batman movie with George Clooney. But Mr. Freeze will also be another main villain for the Batman 2. So honestly, I love the Clayface selection. I love that we're going to see Mr. Freeze again. Also, Zoe Kravitz will be reprising the role as Selena Kyle again in this movie. I don't know how big of a role she's going to have in this movie. Freeze should be Patrick Stewart. That's a good choice, Luke. That is a really good choice. Never mind, Luke, answer that for me. Right. Secret Odyssey, right? Yeah, so I'm with you, Luke. Maybe him. There's some other actors too. I can see the guy from Breaking Bad, Cranston, the guy that played the main character in Breaking Bad. I can see him playing Freeze because he's a really good actor. And I'm like, you know what? I think he could be pull off as Freeze. Also, Riddler will be reprising a role also in this movie. I don't think it's going to be a big role with Riddler. We're going to see him again, but I don't think he's going to be a big baddie. And there's been rumors. Let me talk about this one villain. Poison Ivy is supposed to be in this movie too. We'll probably end up with The Rock as the Freeze. That's the good one, Luke. He gonna be above Mr. Freeze. God, no. He gonna be big. They might pick him. I don't know, man. That'd be crazy if he would be Freeze. I know, Aries. That's crazy, right? Hey, you never know, man. If the money's right, and, you know, most of the time villains get paid more than the superheroes anyway. When it comes to these superhero movies anyway. So, hey, if the money's right, hey, anything is possible, right? So, yeah, man, I'm glad that we're going to see Mr. Freeze. I'm sticking that boy to Rock and everything. I'm glad we're going to see Mr. Freeze. We're going to see Clayface, Catwoman again, maybe Poison Ivy, Riddler, Joker, even Colin Farrell as the Penguin is going to return too. For a role, so we'll probably see a more established Penguin within this second movie because they did talk about a TV series. I don't know if that's still in the works with, should I say, Warner Brothers or Max, where we were going to see him kind of like become the criminal Penguin that we know, Cobblepot. So I am excited to see that Colin Farrell. I mean, he convinced me. I said, how Colin Farrell gonna pull this off, man? I was like, he too skinny to be Penguin. Then I said, oh, they threw the fat suit on him. But he did a great job. I think Paul Dano did a great job as Riddler, a darker take on Riddler. We need a remake with the movie The Rock. The Rock. I really like Colin Farrell. Yeah, same here. I think it's a good choice. I was like, you know what? When I first thought about it, I said, I don't know, you know, because I mean, he's played villains before, like you said. He's played Bullseye in the Daredevil movie that came out years ago, Colin Farrell, and he did a really good job playing Bullseye. Like, I was like, yo, this man, even though the movie wasn't my favorite, I was like, yo, he made a great Bullseye. And he's doing the same thing with, you know what I'm saying, Penguin or Cobblepot, as they call him. And I'm glad of that. Honestly, I was like, yo, this is amazing to see. But yeah, I think the Batman 2 is gonna have a lot of villains this time around. So let's talk about the next thing I do know about this film. And this is gonna surprise a lot of people. I know gamers are gonna probably eat this up. The Batman's gonna take place at Arkham Asylum. So we will see more of the Asylum Arkham, and that means we're probably going to see other villains, maybe like Killer Croc, maybe Scarface, Calendar Man, you know what I'm saying? Other Batman villains that we haven't quite seen on the big screen, maybe even freaking Scarecrow. So I love that we're going to see Arkham Asylum in this one a bit more. Because like I said, Batman has a big gallery of villains, and I'm like, yo, this is a great way to use it. Have it take place at Arkham Asylum. And I love the idea of it. I think that's a great idea because we have not seen a Batman film. Yeah, Arkham will be cool. Yes, definitely. I was like, I love the idea of it because, like I said, as much as Batman has so many villains, I'm like, this is the way you can showcase villains that we haven't seen yet in the live adaptation. And I think that was a risky move because I think the last Batman movie, they may have, in fact, had a lot of villains in it, was The Dark Knight Rises. That was the Christopher Nolan's last movie from that trilogy. And we saw other villains that we normally wouldn't see in a Batman live adaptation. So I was like, yo, I love the idea of this. I was like, this is a great approach, honestly, because sometimes we have these other villains, but they don't never get the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? You'll see them in the animated stuff, right? But you don't see them in the live Batman stuff. So like I said, we'll see some other characters, maybe even henchmen that work for these characters within this actual Batman trilogy, because it's going to be a trilogy like the other one pretty much. And I can't wait to see, like I said, hopefully Killer Croc, Scarecrow, you know what I'm saying, Calendar Man, maybe Time King, villains that we don't see enough of. And I'm like, okay, now they're going to showcase these villains. Now, the other piece of information, this right here, I'm kind of like on the fence about, and maybe because I do want to see it happen. And honestly, I just don't want it to be where it's like, all right, we telling the same story over again, or maybe just the character and how they introduce him into the DC universe. Robin will be in the Batman suit. Now, let me just say this. I'm like on the fence about it, and let me explain why. So, I like the idea that they're going to introduce Robin into the second film for the Batman. I hope we get some of his backstory in this film. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a whole backstory, but just him being one of the Flying Graysons and actually kind of show how he actually met Bruce Wayne. You know what I'm saying? So it could tie into it. As long as they bring him back with the nipple suits, I'm good. No, I think it'll be a lot better now. You know how costumes was back then. But superhero movies, even villains, right? I just hope he's a younger, you know what I'm saying, Dick Grayson, honestly, because at the end of the day, I don't want him to be too like teenage. And I'm like, you know, like, no, you know, it's going to kind of ruin the story. Maybe 9, 10, 11 years old, you know, being a crime fighter with Batman, that would be more of a cooler approach. Because if he's too old, it's not gonna. You're like, wait. Like, when did he meet Bruce? When did he meet Bruce? You know. So I'm on the fence about it. I hope it works out for the movie because he does need someone else to help him fight besides Catwoman. I think Catwoman will be one of the people that's gonna help him, and that's a good way to go about it. Because honestly, the last Batman actual movie, we don't need Teen Titans. Like early 20s Robin. Now that could work, Luke. I can see that too. And you're right, that could work. Maybe a 20s version of Robin. That could definitely work. Like he's an established crime fighter. But if they go with the younger, I don't want him to be like super teenage. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I said. If he's like 10 or 11, cool. But like you said, if he's like Teen Titans type of thing, nah, I'm with you on that, Luke. But yeah, 20s could work, you know what I'm saying? So maybe he'll be more of a established. So there might be a what do they call it? An anime, a time skip, meaning that it's gonna have an older, mature Robin that's now an established sidekick of Batman's. So that could work. I kind of see where you're coming from with this, Luke. I like the idea of that. Yes. Yes. um, and when I think about it, like I said, I don't know if they're gonna go with Dick Grayson or they're gonna go with Tim. That's still kind of an unknown. They haven't really spoken on which version of Robin or Jason Todd. They haven't really said. I mean, that'd be cool if they go with Jason Todd's Robin because we haven't seen him in a live adaptation except for the Teen Titans show that came out on Max. That's the new name for not HBO Max no more. Or in the video games or the animated stuff. So if it's Jason Todd, Robin, cool. If it's Dick Grayson, I'm cool with it too. Dick Grayson, like I said, he's definitely interested in Robin. When it comes down to it, and Tim, he's more of a, you know what I'm saying, a Robin that you didn't see much of. And then you got the Ra's al Ghul, the child that Batman had with Talia. So we may end up having, Batman's son being Robin, Damian Wayne. Yes, Damian Wayne. I don't know about him. Damian Wayne is a little crazy. He's a little crazy, boy. I tell you, he's the one that's whooping on other Robins. I have the animated movies, and he's whooping on like the other Robin. I'm like, dang. Yeah, Damian will be an interesting choice. I don't know which Robin they're gonna go with, and I think when I say Damian, I'll say Damian's in my top 3. If I had to like go with Robins, it's Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, then Damian, and then Tim is like the 4th. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see enough of Tim. You know what I'm saying? Like, with the cartoon and everything that came out, I was like, I didn't see enough of this guy. So it would definitely have to be those 3. Like if I had like a choice between one of those 3 Robins to be in the Batman 2, it's between those 3. Tim is like bottom tier. He's a bottom tier choice. But I mean, Dick Grayson definitely would be a dope choice. It's still one thing they haven't mentioned, and I know they talked about this in the first movie, Batgirl. They're still unknown if we're gonna see Batgirl in the Batman 2. I think they're gonna save her, honestly, for the Batman 3. I think that's gonna be the next part we'll see Batgirl in, Barbara Gordon. And I'm cool with that. I don't want to see them introducing Barbara Gordon too soon. Jason Todd or Dick Grayson should be in their 20s. I can see, sure, a kid version of Damian. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They do kid Damian. If they do Dick Grayson as a kid, like I said, not super duper young, but like you said, 20s or before he's teens, like maybe say 10 or 11. I think it's great to see that we're gonna get Robin again. And like I said, it's man, Batman is definitely, it's gonna be anticipated. I think this movie, and let me talk about this right now. The budget for the Batman 2 is probably more than 200 million. I know the very first movie, that was the budget for the film, but with the film doing extremely well on HBO Max now, it's probably gonna be more than a $200 million budget. Realistically. And I'm cool with that. I mean, if the movie does extremely well in theaters, streaming platform, then it's probably going to be a bit more. They're probably going to add more characters that are villains in this movie, as much as the other characters as well. Like I said, we're going to see Robin for the first time. Maybe Batgirl, we may not see until like the very end. You know how they do with superhero movies, they introduce a character at the very end. But I'm glad that we're gonna see some characters we haven't seen used yet in the actual Batman movie. I mean, this movie, a lot of y'all probably don't know, the Batman is going to be the Batman Part 2, Part 3. And I look forward to it. I think this is definitely going to be one of the big films when it comes out in 2025. I know it's going to be a bit of a delay due to what's going on right now in Hollywood, but I think it's going to be worth watching. I just hope with the Batman 2, they keep that detective element to Batman. I mean, he is the world's greatest detective, so I hope they keep that to the the element of Batman and why a lot of people love Batman. They gotta avoid too many characters, good or bad. Yeah, I think the second movie is gonna be a risk because, like I said, if it's taking place in Arkham Asylum, we're gonna see a lot of villains, but I don't think they're gonna use all of them to fight Batman and even Robin and maybe even Catwoman. The reason why I think Poison Ivy, let me just give y'all the reason why I think Poison Ivy's in this film, because I can't forget Poison Ivy was in the one of the Arkham games, and Catwoman was one of the people that fought her. So we'll probably see Poison Ivy and their relationship kind of come together, them being friends to some degree. Like I said, I think where they're going with this Batman is really good. I'm glad that they're not using Joker as the main villain for the second movie. That was something that a lot of people speculated because how the other one where they had Joker in it briefly, I was like, nah, please. I think Joker is gonna be a big villain in the third movie. That I think they're saving Joker for the third movie, and that's great. I did not want to see him be the big villain for the second film because that's already been done. I'm like, why recycle it and say, hey, Joker gonna be the big villain for the next movie? I'm like, nah, save him for the third movie. I love that Clayface is gonna definitely get his chance to be for a live adaptation Batman movie, which is a really good choice at the end of the day. Like I said, he hasn't been used in a live adaptation movie ever. So I love the idea of it. I'm glad that we're getting Mr. Freeze again. And other than that, this is all I know about it, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, tell me, guys, what are some of the things you're looking for if you haven't in the comments for the Batman 2? And are you looking forward to it dropping in 2025 in October? You tell me in the comments, guys. It is a blur living in the world, guys. Thank you so much for commenting, liking, subscribing. Have a wonderful Monday or Tuesday, guys, and I'm out. Thanks, bro, for the stream. Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in. All right.